Well, good evening. Today I'm talking to you from my balcony here, just overlooking the Marminur. It's really good. You just see the beach down there. Anyway, today I thought I'd try and clarify a bit about the visas coming to, if you want to come to Spain to live permanently. Um, it isn't actually permanently unless you stay here for 5 years. But anyway, you get a visa and you can come to live here. None of the restrictions that when you haven't got the visa you can only stay for 90 days out of 180. But you can buy your own property and live here all year round. So what are the visas that you can get? It used to be if you bought a property for 500,000 euros, you would get a golden visa, but that's gone now. That's really been phased out. So there are only two visas left. If you're working remotely from UK and you've got the right income, you can apply for the digital nomad visa. Now that you need about 33k. There are certain requirements for that. You need about 33k income, be employed by a non-Spanish company, and all your business is done back in Britain. There's several ways you can do that. You can sort that out later, but that's the one visa. But the most popular will be the non-lucrative visa. So if you're of retirement age or you've got an income that isn't from UK, like it could be stocks and shares, you could be investments, property. If you rent out your property and you get enough income, you can apply for a non-lucrative visa here. Now for that you'd need about 28,000 euros for one person and an extra 7,000 for, let's say, a spouse, and then another 7,000 is actually 7,200 for a child, or each other dependent. So for a couple it would be in the region of 36,000 euros that you'd need having per year to apply for the visa. So when you apply for the visa, let's talk about the non-lucrative. When you apply for that visa, thanks very much. Now, what I want to talk about is the non-lucrative visa rather than the digital nomad visa, because the non-lucrative visa is much simpler. Unless you actually work remotely, the digital nomad visa is for you, but most people will come to Spain on the non-lucrative visa. Now the whole idea is the non-lucrative visa is really just a stamp in your passport that gives you more than the 90 days that you're allowed to stay in the country, to come here and get your paperwork to the call it the immigration office, to give you your residency card. So, but it's generally called the non-lucrative visa is what we're staying on. We've really got a non-lucrative residence permit. So what's the criteria for the non-lucrative visa? Well, one, you have to be able to support yourself throughout your stay. And initially your stay will be a whole year, then you reapply and you get 2 years next, then you get another 2 years. That means you've got 5 years. Then you can apply for permanent residence. So in your first year you need to prove that you can support yourself, and the way you do that is show the government that you have enough money coming in or in savings to support yourself for that 1 year. That's all you need, just a 1 year. And that for a single person is 28,800 euros. And then if you put your wife or husband on, or a child, it's another 7,200. So for two people, which is what most people will be doing, is 36,000 euros. Now the way you can show this is some savings. They do like an income, like a pension, so you can add pension to your savings, or if you've got a passive income, like you let a house in the UK, you've got a regular income from that, and then add that to savings to make up the required amount. You can have investments, so interest coming in, anything like that, just as long as they know you've got enough money to support yourself. The next thing you'll need is insurance, medical insurance. Now this isn't just, it's very confusing, it isn't holiday insurance that would just cover you for the year. No, it's got to be exactly the same as the medical insurance that Spanish residents get from the government. So it has to include being able to go to the doctor and to the hospital without paying what they call a co-payment. So some of the medical insurances will say every time you go to the doctor you've got to pay half or something like that, say 30 euros, because if you go privately to a doctor it will cost you 50 to 60 euros. So it has to be no co-payments, it has to be a full service, nothing exempt, basically the same as a Spanish citizen would have. That will cost you in the region of 1,000 euros per year per person, or for somebody 65, 60, something like that. It may be a bit more if you're older, it may be a bit less if you're younger, but on average it's about 1,000. Mine was quoted 1,000, 1,100. So there's your medical insurance. Now paperwork you have to get is you have to have no criminal record in all the countries you've lived in for the last 3 years. So you have to get a criminal record from each of those countries to prove that you have no record. And if you're in the UK, that would be what's known as an ACRO. That's just a certificate that tells the Spanish government that you have no criminal record. When you get that as well, that will be in English, and it has to be translated and apostilled. So that's extra cost. There are a lot of, it's very awkward, very confusing of what you have to do. But once you've been through it, you know, you can, there are like specialists. I found a very good place that specialises in visas, and they're used to doing this. It's very quick. They can get it done within a couple of days if you want it rushed, or within a week. So that's if you need that, drop us a line. I'll let you know where to send off your documents to be apostilled. So your ACRO, you will also need a medical certificate. This simply sounds like you go to your doctor, am I fit to go to Spain? He says yes, but there's certain criteria. There's it's basically contagious diseases, and all they need to know is a doctor will look at you and say, have you got any contagious diseases, and he'll write you a certificate. That again has to be in Spanish or translated, and again that can be quite complicated if you're doing it in the UK. I got mine done remotely from a doctor in Spain, and that seems to be the best way to go. It's not expensive. Otherwise you've got all the other expenses of translation. What's the next thing? Yeah, so that's basically all you need. Now, the worst thing really is applying for the appointment at the consulate. So you have to go to the Spanish consulate to apply for the visa. Now, really, it's quite confusing what you have to do. You have to go on their website, make an appointment there, and go along with all your documents. So you've got your form, you download a form off their website, fill that in. To be honest, when I went, they were quite helpful. If you've got anything wrong or didn't quite understand, they, sometimes they can be a bit unhelpful and say, no, go away and make another appointment. But where I went in the London office, because there's two, if you're in the northern part of the UK, you have to go to Manchester, and if you're in the southern part, that can be Devon and Cornwall, you still have to go to London, to the consulate there. So I found them, it was quite nerve-wracking going to the appointment and thinking, what are they going to do? I'm going to lose, time and money if I didn't fill one thing out correctly. Well, I found I didn't fill out the payment form properly, and they just said, don't worry, and they did it for me. So you go there, you give them your forms, you give them all your documents that you've gathered together, and your passport. You pay the fee and you go away, and they've got 3 months to tell you whether you've been given the visa or not. They're supposed to do it in a month, but if they don't do it in 3 months, you can say, where is it? And if they can't find your they haven't made a decision yet, it's automatically a yes. But anyway, they get your passport. So if you're planning a summer holiday to go out to Spain while your passport is at the consulate, you can't go. So plan it all around that if you are travelling, you have to travel, you have to make 3 or 4 months, I'd leave 6 months between going to the interview at the consulate, because they're going to keep your passport. I've heard people say they don't keep your passport, but in my experience, they did. So you go there, you get you give them all your documents, and they write back to you and say your visa is waiting for you to pick it up at the consulate. You have to go back there. You don't need an appointment for that. You just turn up and tell them at the door. It's very informal, really, this consulate in London. I was there in the winter, and it was freezing cold outside, and everybody has to queue up along the pavement. It's, there's no waiting room or anything for people queuing up for an appointment. So when you're going to pick up your passport, you go there and you tell the lady at the door, I'm come to pick it up, and they take you in. But if you've got an appointment and you get there half an hour early, you're waiting in the street in a queue with other people. It's crazy. Anyway, you get your visa. It's a sticker in one of the pages of your passport, and that gives you a certain amount of time to come to Spain and then go to the local the national police station, because there's local police, national police. You have to go to the national police station that deals with immigration, and pick up or apply for your card, for your residence card, and it's best to do that as soon as possible. The other things is once you go and you've applied for that card, you have to apply for other things. You have to register with the council where you're going to live. If you're staying more than 6 months, which you will be, you have to get your driving license changed to a Spanish license. And if you've brought your car with you and you want to keep your driving that car, you can't for more than 3 months. You have to get that changed onto Spanish plates. People drive their car back and forth, but the police are really clamping down on that now. I've heard of several people that have been driving their car on UK plates, and they say, I've taken it back and brought it back here. They're not having it because they look at your residence card and they say, well, you're a resident, so you are staying here for half a year, therefore you need to keep your car here. It doesn't wash. You know, people have been going back, getting their MOT and coming back, and everything's legal, but they want it registered in Spain, obviously, because then speeding tickets, parking fines will come to your residence here. So that's the first little bit about getting a non-lucrative visa. I know I'm a bit confusing, but you know, I'm getting on, but I will make some notes and make another video more concise purely about the non-lucrative visa and the amounts you need, and basically the time frame it takes. And if really what you need to do then is when you come, I would assume you've either already got a property, because you could have had a property and only come out to it for holidays. So if you need help with any of this, drop me notes in the comments. I'm quite willing to help people with anything, where you can get your car done, where you can get your you know, best places to live, right, you know, looking for properties. If you need help looking for a property, because there are some things, you know, I'm not exactly an expert, but I can see that there's work to be done on a property, or let you know, or run through it with a video for you if you can't get out here. So just bear that in mind if you do need any help with the visa or property. Let me know in the comments. I will work something out. But thanks for watching. I know I ramble on a bit, but I'm getting on a bit now. But I will make another video about buying property in Spain, driving a UK car, changing driving license, all things that you need to know if you really want to move to Spain. I mean, now the summer's coming, you might come here for a holiday. I'd be happy to meet you. I'm in well, you know, I'm in La Manga, which is near Murcia Airport. It's quite a distance from Alicante, but actually when I fly, I go to Alicante. It's my preferred airport. Anyway, I can meet you at the airport if you want. Don't worry, you know, we can work something out. Look around for some property. The best deals are coming up. Prices going up every day now, actually, so the sooner the better. And a little tip, come out before the summer, before it's a bit hectic. Right, so if you can, you know, definitely don't come out during the school holidays. And school holidays in Spain are about the same as they are in UK. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe if you want to know more about living in Spain and how to get on living in Spain. Thanks for watching again.